Okay, hey everybody. Back again, 4th of July weekend. Happy 2nd. I know everybody's going to probably be back at work this coming week. I don't know who all's got a long weekend and who doesn't, but I'll be here with you nonetheless. So, you've been warned. Today I'm going to be knocking out Bullseye. So I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit so we're on target. Pardon the pun there. And now I'm going to get into this thing. So I hope everybody's having a safe weekend. This is going to be a fun one. Very charismatic. So we're going to knock this out. And have a little bit of a good time doing it. We had some rain earlier today, so I'm hoping Facebook doesn't give us any issues at all. The internet held up just fine, but it's the boom and all of that that messes up the reception. So, all the thunder and lightning. So, I always like drawing this character because he's got the... It's even better than a Joker smile to me because it's not exaggerated. It's just creepy evil. He just looks very sinister. And it's way more so than the Joker, which you know the Joker's just off his rocker. But this guy, you don't know exactly what if he's crazy or what. So, I always enjoy drawing this character. I don't want to over-exaggerate the musculature. And he was the Dark Reign for the Dark Avengers character. He was the evil Hawkeye. Or the Dark Reign Hawkeye. I don't know if he was evil or not necessarily, but he was the Dark Reign Hawkeye. I found that very fascinating. But I didn't even get into the storyline. It didn't resonate with me. I liked the character swapping, but once I found out the direction they were going with it, I was like, nope, that's okay. So... I didn't get into it as much as I could, and probably should have as a comic fan, especially an Avengers fan, but just one of those things. Popping a little shadow on those tear ducts. And because his head's kind of tilted down a little bit, or a little forward, I'm not going to draw in all those teeth. I'm just going to kind of ridge it in like that and leave it open. And from the way he's leaning, it's going to do kind of a tilt where he's going to pull back just a little harder on the left side. I wanted him to have a massive smile on that side, but I do want to stretch this out a little bit. It's going to be blacked out anyway, so it's easily corrected. I want that mask just a little thicker. There we go. Leave that little light ridge right there on the jaw and on the side here so we can see what's going on. Cut in that ear, up and over, highlight there on top, and boom. This is a dull fabric, so he can't be seen. Because he's an assassin, he likes to hide in the dark, so that's one of those things, you know, everybody likes to go in and do the heavy venom thing on him and make him highlight all over the place, and it's just, that fabric doesn't like that way in the real world. So even in comics exaggeration, I would never light it that way because of the fact that it's a dull fabric. It's not like it's polished leather or even an armor necessarily, because every time he gets wounded it is a fabric. So I go with that and leave it alone there. Keep it very simple, very clean, because this character's got such a facial expression and such cool hands. You don't have to worry about that. He pops right off the page. No problem. Kind of adding some depth to the back of his head here. Okay. I'm having people chime in all over the place. I'm just trying to close some of this. Okay. Got it. Sorry about that. Had a bunch of stuff coming up. People letting me know that they're coming on and whatnot, and I was just like shutting down that personal window. Granted, it's all good, but nonetheless. We're trying to be professional here, man. So, knocking this out as quickly as possible, so you guys can see this, because this guy is really, really cool. I love this character. I'm going to shift over. This Bullseye here on his head. But yeah, this is one of my favorite characters. I love this guy. He's great to draw, very easy to draw. Way more than most characters that are villains in the Marvel Universe. Not just because of the fact that the simplicity of a suit or the simpler design, but the fact that this dude's just fun to draw because he's crazy. He really is whacked out. I love drawing this character. Almost as much as tomorrow's character, which you guys will not want to miss because I've drawn that guy a million of times. It's the Puma from Spider-Man. I love that character. He's awesome. I wrote and penciled a mini-series on him that didn't pan out with Marvel as I wanted it to. I really, really love that character. And if you check out my DeviantArt at chargedgraphite.deviantart.com sometime, and if you look in the sketches in there, there's actually a picture of the Puma character that I did. It was one of the proposal sketches that I shot in. So, and yes, I know I'm not stenciling this out, and I'm crazy for it, and probably You're probably right. I should be stenciling this out, but we're in active expediency here. We're just going to go ahead and mark it in. It's definitely not round, but it will work. There are a bunch of my artist friends online right now, I guarantee you, looking at this and going, dude, use your circle stencil. What are you doing? But, you know, it is what it is. We'll ride it out. Okay. Got that highlight on there. I'm going to go right around this ridge, right up to the top of the head. And I'm not going to leave a heavy highlight on here at all, because like I said, this fabric is not supposed to be reflective. I'm doing this for the fact that he's got light coming from the back side of his head and the top. That's it. That is the only reason. I'll switch over to my 9 here. Oh my goodness. Making sure that lead's okay before I go digging into the card. And I should use my big 2 millimeter for this, but I never think about it when I'm drawing this thing. I always want to use the 5, the 7, and the 9. I think I'm just spoiled by those. And normally the details of what I do is a lot smaller anyway, so a lot tighter and a lot cleaner. So it is what it is. But this will do the job for sure. Okay. Now we're going to put a little bit of the light down in here on these peaks, but that's it. Like I said, I want to do this completely black throughout 99% of this. I'm just going to put in these little bitty highlights here because I know that's going to reflect with that edge. Okay. Now that I have that going on, I'm going to go over here, and because this is the light side, I'm going to put in just a tiny refraction right there, and then boom, it's black. I'm going to cut that corner because I want that just to be a little sliver there. So he's starting to come along. He is starting to come along. And I gotta draw, whenever I do his eyes, I'll draw in his eyebrows right above as well, because they are there. I just left them very, very light right there. As you can see, they are there. And as you can tell with me whipping through this thing, I've drawn this guy like 80 times. In the last year alone, because last summer I was doing oh my goodness, I don't know how many Daredevil and Bullseye commissions, because of the fact that everybody was watching the series, you know, it was on and whatnot. And Luke Cage was big last summer as well, so that was a big one. It's a little heavier line than I want, so drop that off. But anyway, you guys get the gist of it. Curve out this card here, and as you can see, I squared out the corner right there, and then I cropped it. So that's, ta-da, there's a card. So and again, there went the corner right there, and I cropped it down. So we have a card. There's the spade for it. And I'm going to flip it back around here so I don't disproportion this knuckle. Because if you see right here, I'll take a second and show you guys. If you see right here, this is where my my cupcake method, as my daughter named it, for the hands and stuff. This is the way I draw it. I draw the circle on top with a cupcake style funnel underneath it, and it's got a round top on it. It's like a muffin or a cup or something like that. And then I come off this point right here where the circle meets at that edge right there, and that's where I bubble it out for the edge of the hand. So that's how I draw those out. I know I've shown you guys that before, but if you're wondering and haven't seen it yet, there you go. I got this funky thing I do with the knuckles too, because I come in with one straight line, one bumped line, and connect them across that way when I draw the knuckles, just to show the curvature and the folds without it, because he's got white gloves on without it actually being there. So then come in behind that knuckle curve right there and attach it, and then go into the next knuckle and roll it up, go across, draw the line back. There's the straight line and the ridged line again, like I talked about. And there you go. You have it. Yay, knuckles. Okay, moving on. Put the edge of that finger right there. Draw this one back to the knuckles. Connect it to the hand. And I can turn this one because it's already in place. There's a straight line. And now I'm back in with my curved ridge for the bone. So there you go. I do that every time. I always do that. That is my knuckle formula. And it doesn't matter either side you do it on, it just whichever looks better at the time. So you make sure you get it in there. I know this isn't a 101 class or anything like that, but if you ever wonder how I do it, that's how I do it right there. Right there. 'Tis done, 'tis done. Now here's the end of the thumb. Cut that bad boy in. Dum-de-dum. Now remember, he's wearing gloves, so I'm going to do it like this. Put that corner in there and leave it alone because these are white. So and you'll notice this has a little bit of a warp to it, because that's the side of the knuckle right there where the bone connects in the back of the hand for the knuckle. Comes out like this on the side a little bit, like that ridge right there, and then it goes back up in here to the muscles coming back from the thumb, but they're pulled back over here, so you're not going to see them because they're pulled under holding that. So and because that's open, you're just going to see a shadow right there. Now I'm going to draw on those knuckles. And again, because they're in gloves, we won't see the exact shape. But I will over-exaggerate them just a little bit for this one. Just because I want to add a little depth to it for the thickness of the gloves. Okay. I'm going to pop a little shadow on this side. I'm going to pop one right here in the middle as well. And come in and do the Kirby squiggle right there. Gonna do one on this side too. Show the peak of their knuckles. Again, white gloves, want to leave those alone. Not get carried away. And because the shadow's in here, it's also going to be over here on this side, because these hands always do that. They're going to mirror each other on that side. Then the highlight will be up on top. So be aware of that if you're ever drawing these things, and think about that, especially on white gloves, because that's the way they're going to do. They're going to mirror each other. So that's why I have to come in down here and put in that shadow. And like I said, I don't want to monkey with that too much, because I'm getting too many dark spots on white gloves. Not a good idea. So just going to put a little mark right there to show some curve on the edge, and I'm going to leave that hand alone before I start, like I said, as always, before I start monkeying it up, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to overshadow it, and then it'll be ruined. Epic failure. Not going to happen on my watch. So cut in a little black A right there. Now the funny thing is, because this card is shiny, even though it's a black matte finish on here, there's always a little shiny spot right there on the edge of the card where it raised from the print. Always found that fascinating with the Imperials. Bicycle cards don't do that, but Imperial brand do. So go figure. I don't know. It's just a process. I'm originally from Texas. I played a lot of cards when I was younger. So not much of a gambler, but it'll take care of a Saturday night with a bunch of cousins sitting around. Not wanting to shade this up too much either, because one, a lot of this is going to be black, and I don't want to over define it just to black it out. But then on top of that, I want to make sure that this is taken care of too, because I want to make sure it's all there when I go and finish it in just a few minutes, because I'm about to start taking all of this out. Leave that little spot right there. I'll just black it out. It's underneath this neck anyway. Got to make decisions like that as an artist on the fly. So, got to make those decisions. Now, I will ridge this one because this is right next to that white line that's about to go around him. So, I'll put a little highlight there for the blue. And then we'll traipse down the white highlights to go around his shoulders and his neck. And that's what's going to happen right here. That's it, folks. Good night. See you later. No. That is it. That is it. That goes down around here across his chest and comes right back up over here. Right in this middle shoulder. I'm going to put it right across here. Because of the angle we're at, we'll be able to see that stretch out. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be freaking because I didn't go around the shoulder over there, but the thing is, the way he's standing right now, he's got his arm raised up, so the fabric's moved this way. So it would foreshorten it, and you wouldn't see as much. It would ride up higher on the shoulder. Because the shape only goes about halfway across the delt before it comes back up. And then it finishes out right here. So because it slopes, it's going to come back up. And that would be the reason for that. So we're going to go ahead and pop out. We got those two lines there. I want to be sure and put that top one in there. 1, 2, there we go. Right here. Now we'll shade out the rest of this before I go down on the arm. Got a little bit of a highlight, and then right here on the crest of the neck and shoulder here, I'm going to block that side, and I'll put that little line right there for a highlight there. Now this will be black, and this down here will be black, except for this right here. We're going to put a little bit of a line right there where the neck connects into the collar, and it starts to show the top of the pec. The clavicle and all that is going to go across there. So we want to make sure that's done right. You got to show the muscles, man. It's not a hero or a villain if it's not souped up. But sorry, it's the weekend. It is the weekend. So there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and black out this other side of this shoulder back here. So I need the 9 again. I'm going to stick my hand in the way so I can hold this down so we don't have a major disaster with the material. It won't do me any good if I crush it. Not in that way anyway. So, alright. I'm going to knock that out. Nice and neat. Yeah, he's coming off alright. I got to finish in this nose and the face and stuff too. Like I said, don't want to over detail that. And if you weren't watching yesterday, in case you missed it for some reason, shame on you. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the Puma, as I said, but tonight, if you missed yesterday's show, I will inform you that I do have the podcast for ComicKickstarter.com going up at 9 p.m. tonight, Central Time, and then the regular posting will be around lunchtime on Sundays from then on, from week to week. So I promised a regular schedule for you. There you go. That's the schedule. Okay. So for everybody that asked me, there you go. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support on it. Check it out. And we'll hang out and have a good time. So. And we try to keep it at a half-hour show, but it runs over to an hour sometimes. Depends. It just depends on the format and what we got to talk about. So we're going to be covering a lot of stuff over there. So I'm off that soapbox. Plug, plug. There you go. Oh, geez. But, yeah, now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do his abdominals and his belt right there from that side because his pecs are up here, his ribs are right there, and there's his abs and his belt. So we're going to come in and draw those in real quick. Then I'm going to get up there on that face and finish this sucker out so we can see what's going on with this. And I'm also going to be posting almost a dozen cards between now and Tuesday for you guys as well. I've been getting a lot of requests for the finished stuff. You know, hey man, when are you going to show the finished cards? Well, I made some time in my schedule this weekend and knocked a bunch of them out, so I will be posting them between now and Tuesday afternoon, so you guys can see them. They're inked and colored up and all that good stuff. And we will be able to go that route. The full color cards are back. And then about this time next week, I'll be caught up and have the majority of them, if not all of them, colored up and caught back up to where I can start coloring them daily again. I really like doing that, and a couple of projects came up that I just had to knock out, so I apologize for that, but it just had to be done. Which, if you don't know, one of is Catman number 4, Catman Evolution number 4, and the long-awaited Lone Rider book is finally done. I am working on the last couple pages of lettering it out right now so that it can be posted and shared with you guys, and you can start to collect to your little heart's contents. So let's see. Alright, need to shadow this in. Don't want to mess with the fingers here. I'm going to put a little mark there because that's the pelvis. I'm going to put that little highlight right there just to break it up a little bit so it's not a solid chunk of black down there. And there we go. We've got him populated. So now got him populated with the shadow, and now I'm going to draw on these eyebrows right here. Which they're brown. Okay. Now we got that sinister thing going on. I'm going to cut these eyes in just a little bit more. Is he wearing makeup, man? No, no, no. And I'm going to cut his eyes off just a little bit over this way so he doesn't go cross-eyed, because that's one of the hardest things about drawing a character when you draw a profile straight on like this. Make sure you tilt him just a little bit to one side where he's looking just past the viewer, just past one way or the other. That way you don't draw him all cross-eyed, because if you draw him straight on, it's going to look weird. It happens every time. From some angle, you're going to make him look cross-eyed, and that's a bad thing. Don't do that. Because he'll look like he's looking at the center of your nose, and you don't want him to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this. You cut the pupil, you draw the eyes on point, and then you cut the center here for the shadow to angle just a little bit off. You see that? So now he looks like he's looking right off the camera, just a little. And that's how you make them look that way without looking directly at you, so they look nuts and look like they're crossing their eyes and take the thrill right out of it. Now, because this is Bullseye, I'm going to put that little ridge right there, that little snarky quip thing that he does with his nose right there. Like I said, this dude's got a smile and a smirk that just is freaky. And you got to say it like that. You got to say freaky. So, I'm going to shadow under this lip just a little bit. I marked my ridge right there. That'll make him pop out just a little. And right here, because he has a knobby chin, I'm going to put this right here like that. So there you go. that pops that off. Now, I'm going to leave the card alone except for drawing one line, which I want to draw right here for the edge to show a little more of the 3D effect. And we are calling it done. Hey Javon, nice to see you made it. And Tom finally made it on here. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't read a lot of my comments. I was just rambling on. But thank you guys for doing this for me. It's awesome to see you hanging out and checking it out. Now, like I said with this guy, watch him, because when you're drawing him, you have to get that sinister look without making him look crazy. Like the Joker style where it's over-exaggerated, because then it just gets weird and it doesn't suit him. He has to look more insane through the eyes rather than through the actual smile. And because we're looking down on those eyes, I'm going to pop them out just a little more. And for some reason, the bags under the eyes, if you put the bags under the eyes on the villain, it's creepy. I don't know why, but it always adds an extra element of just, yeah, that dude's off. So, but I'm going to put my pencil down and call it a done day. I appreciate it. You guys have any questions before we go? I don't know if anybody's got anything today or not, but okay, I'm going to say it's good, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the Puma, which, like I said, you can check it out on Charged Graphite. It's all one word, chargedgraphite.deviantart.com. And if you put in that and go into the gallery, you can see the Puma. You'll find it in the sketches there, and be able to check out some of my other work as well. But it's all older stuff. I've been so productive, I haven't posted anything new except maybe a couple of cards. Be sure and check it out if you want to see an advanced look at the Puma. He's in there, and it'll be something along that line. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.